Hey, everybody. Welcome to the relaunch of the Wild Ones podcast. My name is Morgan Wahlberg, and I'll be your host. And we're going to sit down with a lot of interesting people that have blazed their own trail. We're going to talk to people that have kind of done life their own way and listen to their stories and hear some advice from them. So I couldn't think of anybody that encapsulates that mindset more than George Christie. If you don't know who he is, he was the president of the Ventura Hells Angels for decades. And he's really a legend in this community, and he's got just an endless supply of incredible stories. So he was kind enough to sit with me and tell me some of them, and I was able to pick his brain on kind of how he lived his life as an outlaw. So I think it's a great episode, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys. Thanks so much for coming. I really
I want to
appreciate
thank you guys and everybody with Iron and Resin. The book signing's coming up.
Yep.
Everybody's real excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm shocked at the response we're getting.
It's great. We're seeing it too. It's like, I read this book. I saw you had it coming out, and I was like, we sell stuff like this in the store. Like, why can't we should do this. You're a Ventura legend. We're in Ventura. Let's make it happen. And so thanks so much for being willing and to have this all going. And it's April 25th, 1 to 4 is when that will be.
Yeah, and Beverly and I are real excited about it. I worked on this book for 3 years.
Wow.
And, I'd write for 4 or 5 days straight, and then Beverly would help me edit it.
Right.
And it was quite a process. And we didn't even realize it had been 3 years.
Wow.
So we got to the end.
Totally. You're so locked in.
Yeah, I'm just so locked in.
Right.
And we had a routine. I'm an early riser. I get up at 5:30.
Right.
And every day I would go in there and write.
Sure.
Sometimes it was 20 minutes. Sometimes it was an hour and 20 minutes.
When the story flows.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to do.
For sure.
Sometimes you just sit there.
Right. Well, it's got to be tough a little bit reflecting on, it's not all of these stories in here are easy memories.
No, they're not easy.
Most are not.
And I tried to be very honest about it. And that is how I remember it.
Right.
And that's what I want the reader to experience. I want him to go, oh man,
Totally.
we're in the middle of it.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of love and brotherhood. There's a lot of double dealing for sure across them.
Well, and I really want to talk about all that. I want to catch people up first that if they haven't read or whatever, just a couple stories to kind of get us to really the bulk of this one. But one of my favorite stories you tell, because it resonates with me. So little about me.
And you're former military.
I was.
Yeah.
Right. So I was in the Navy, and that was kind of my childhood dream was, all I want to do is fly airplanes in the Navy. I was a one-track mind, and ultimately that happened, and, great. But you tell the story the first time you saw an outlaw biker riding by your dad, and he's talking to that Italian guy on the street, and you talk about how, this guy rolls up, you hear the sounds, and it just stuck with you, and you hop on that bike metaphorically and you ride off with him. And that was like a shift for you. It's like, oh my God, this is the guy.
The sound was so distinct at the stop sign.
Right.
And I didn't know what it was. And then years later, I go, wow, that was the clutch basket.
Right.
The bearings were rattling when he engaged the clutch.
Totally.
And I was just taken with the guy.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing was, metaphorically and metaphysically,
right,
he was controlling everything, and he wasn't even interested in what was going on. He was in his own outlaw world, if you will.
For sure.
The glasses pushed up on his head, the engineer boots with the big silver buckles. I could see them like glistening in the sun. The dirty Levi's, they were either black or dirty.
Right.
He had the cut, the sleeves cut off. I don't know what it said on the back.
Right.
And when he left, man, it was like the atmosphere, it kind of, it cooled down, like people could breathe again.
Right.
And it was interesting. My dad even seemed nervous. He seemed uncomfortable.
And you saw that.
Yes, and I'd never seen that before with
him.
And I was like, whoa, this guy's got some power.
Right.
Of course, the Italian guy, he just starts, just firing off. he's an animal. He goes, look at him. And then he looked at me and he goes, that's your America. And he spit on the ground. I'll never forget
Right.
that. Yeah.
But you can see, like, especially back then, it's like, he is an outlaw. That's not the norm, it's like,
not
this
the norm at all.
And so well, first of all, how old were you in that?
I'm thinking I had to be no more than 10. I'm saying between 8 and 10. 1955.
Pretty young. So you may not even know, like, the political climate.
Oh, no.
It's just this
I knew,
aura.
All I knew was whoever this guy was, he was affecting everybody.
Right.
And I saw it as power. And then what happened later, when I discovered we were poor,
right? Sure.
I thought about that outlaw,
right.
And people were laughing at us because I wanted a burger,
right?
Bob's Big Boy,
right?
And we pulled into the parking lot of Bob's Big Boy. My dad opened the 4 doors. It's old. I'm thinking it was either a Plymouth or DeSoto.
Sure.
And he took the seats out, took the bench seat out of the front, took the bench seat out of the back, and they started rifling. Through the floorboards, and they've got the dust balls and the stuff lying there. Here's a nickel, here's a dime, and I was laughing.
Right, you can't comprehend.
No, I'm thinking, man, I'm on a trailer with my dad, and my mom, and they were talking Greek, and my dad said something to my mom. I don't remember exactly what he said. I didn't speak Greek well, but I could understand it pretty well, and I looked at my mom. And the look on her face.
Yeah.
And I looked at the people and they were laughing. And I figured out, at first I was laughing with them.
There's a shift.
And I went, oh my God, they're laughing at us.
Right.
And then I started focusing. My mom's dress was worn out.
Right. Everything starts to light up.
I looked at them and I looked at my family.
And put it together.
Put everything in together. And I thought to myself, if I was that outlaw.
Right.
This would be laughing at me right now.
Right.
And I think that was just like a convergence of
right. Well, and that stuck with you because you also talk about how in high school, you weren't that big tough guy that was like getting respect and doing whatever they want, right? So it's kind of there was a desire there to be that guy, and it wasn't really happening for you initially.
I was kind of a comedian in class,
Class block.
I remember I snuck over to the. I was trying to get into the girls' locker room to get a peek.
Of course.
I got in trouble.
Right.
So my punishment was, remind me of the rabbit in the briar patch. My punishment was I had to go take girls' PE for a semester.
Twist my arm.
Yeah. So I was over there with the girls. I have to dress out with the guys. But I wasn't a vicious kid.
Right.
I was always looking for a good time.
Sure.
I had become a surfer.
Right.
And, hung out with some pretty tough surfers.
Right. And there was an overlap there that kind of made the transition into the biker world, too.
Yeah, like Stevie Binger was one of the Silver SRAM regulars. He became a Hessian.
Right.
And, he got killed on his bike early on.
Wow.
And, Duty Juarez, he was the toughest guy on the beach down there. He was going to get a bike, and he may have had a bike. Tom Carlson, who probably was one of the best surfers of Ventura, the city of Ventura.
Yeah.
He became an orphan. That was a bike club.
Right. He got into it later. Yeah.
But I remember he didn't have a Harley, he had a Triumph. And it was just, back in those days, you could ride a Triumph and get away with it as long as it was custom.
Right. Totally.
So that was the crowd. That surfers were blending over or breaching
into that world,
or merging, or whatever you want to call it. And I think it was the outlaw dynamics of the mind.
Right. I mean, kind of surfers vulture.
Now, outlaw bikers were getting a lot of hassles from society, but surfers were getting just as much hassle, if not more.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, it was very...
But kind of different perception, right? It's kind of... Well, were they thinking of them the same way? Like, big, scary biker, stoner surfer? Or was it all kind of different deal?
They saw them... I think they saw them as non-productive surfers.
Right.
Who ultimately are going to be parasites upon society.
Not contributing.
And then you've got the scary bikers that God only knows what these guys are going to get into.
Right.
And then in 1965, Attorney General Lynch
Right.
comes out with the Lynch report. That's
Right.
what it was, flagged. And it's about, we're going after the Hells Angels.
Yep.
We're going after the Galloping Goose. We're going after the Straight Satans, the Satan Slaves. And these are all bike clubs, in Southern California.
Right.
And then, of course, the Hells Angels in North were saturated
Right.
in Northern California.
And this is still before you're involved, right?
No, I'm on the fringes.
Right. You're hanging with the guys.
I'm going out to Danny Brucker's barn.
Right.
And his father owned Cars of the Stars.
Okay.
And there was a gentleman named Dick Woods who was the maintenance man.
Okay.
And he also was the founding father of the question marks.
Got it.
So I'm out there. I'm
seeing
ties.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, this is cool, And,
For
sure. It's interesting. In the old days, the question marks wore foul weather jackets.
Okay.
And Dick Woods hand painted the logo.
Wow. Very cool.
On the back.
Yeah.
And so all the question marks had jackets with sleeves on them.
Right.
The Satan Slaves up in or down in San Fernando Valley had the little square patches with the devil.
See it, the white one.
Yeah, and the hands are handcuffed to the bar.
Right. Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. I've got a plaque at home with actual given to me by the slaves as I'm just never like a Satan slave.
Right.
I was pretty close with them.
Right.
I used to go in the meetings with them.
Totally.
And stole their paddle one time. They had a SWAT paddle.
Okay.
So if you got in trouble in the meeting,
sure,
the members would bid on who got to SWAT you. And now
very frat.
So, yeah. So you think about this. This is in the 60s. You go, what are you going to pay for a SWAT? I mean, these guys are paying $300-400 to SWAT somebody.
Wow.
And a lot of dough.
Yeah.
And for guys that didn't have any money.
Sure.
And,
but that's worth it to them.
Yeah, it was worth it.
Right.
To them. But I know one time one of the slaves, they were moving the clubhouse. This is when I was a Hells Angel.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, would you hold on to this for till I get to come out?
Sure.
I go, sure. And I strapped it to my bike and I took off. And he started chasing me all over San Fernando Valley.
Yeah.
And I actually took it to the slave president at the time, Dana Traxel. And I said,
right.
I said, here's your thing. I go, Crazy Mike's pulling his hair out, man. I dished him.
Right.
I go, you might want to have some fun with him.
Totally.
And he got swatted for that.
I bet he did. I bet he did.
Yeah.
Well, so let me ask you this. So you have this moment as a kid. You see the biker. That's it for you. Did that stay pretty consistent as you were growing up? So now you're surfing, you're doing these other things. Was it always in the back of your mind? It's like, I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah. I knew that I was getting there. I took an exam, got terrible grades in school.
Right.
And I'm the guy that daydreamed.
Sure.
Looking out the window when the teachers talked.
Right.
That
makes it very difficult.
He was really smart, but he's dyslexic.
And probably back then, nobody
knew what it was.
No, you're just not doing well.
You're not trying hard enough.
Right.
I go, the numbers are switching, and I would draw like a B backwards.
Right.
And they go, that's not how you do it.
But you're seeing it.
I go, well, yeah. And they go, you're not trying.
Right.
And I'm going, I'm trying.
Yeah, which is so frustrating.
Yeah, but the interesting thing was, and I started calling it white noise. In Beverly, and I talk with our dog. It's white noise for him. When I'm yelling at him to come back to the house when he's chasing something.
Right. You get to a point where it's you can't
hear it.
Right.
And these teachers are talking up there on the blackboard, and they're drawing this stuff, and it's white noise to me.
Yeah.
And my escape was to look out the window.
Right.
Daydream. And that's what I did.
Totally.
So I take an exam, an IQ exam of some sort. A standard IQ exam, I guess, and I ace it. And they accuse me of having the answer book.
Right, because how could you know?
Yeah, I'm stupid.
Right.
And that's basically, they brought me in there, brought my parents down there.
Right.
And demanded the answer book. I pleaded with them. I said, I did not. I said, I took that test fair and square, and it was an interesting position for me because it was the first time my parents really didn't back me.
Right.
My mom was thinking, how is he getting D's?
Right, because it is hard to believe,
And he aced this thing, and
right.
I said to her mom, I said, I'm telling you, I took the test fair and square, and that's right. She stood up. She said, my boy said he took it fair and square. It's fair and square.
Right.
And
good on mom.
Yeah, and my attitude after that was, if this is polite society,
right,
I don't have anything to do with it, man.
Yeah.
And that night I told my dad I want to join the Marines.
So that was that for you, because it kind of is building now. You have this moment in the car where you feel less than.
Right.
You're not this star in the high school. Now, academically as a challenge, it's like, fuck it, I'm going to go be a Marine.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And it's interesting. Like, I wanted to play football, and my dad, he was an interesting guy. He goes, why do you want to get all busted up for somebody else?
Right.
Yeah, that's...
Sure.
Think about it.
No, totally.
And I go, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I don't want you getting your head banged and all that stuff. He goes, the hell with that, And then he pushed me towards surfing.
Right, right.
And which was probably not smart.
Sure. Well, it's funny. You talk about, too, they moved you to Camarillo.
They moved me to Camarillo.
Keep you safe.
Billed as one of the safest cities of the United States. So and who lives there? The question.
Right. All these little things kind of contribute to this. Now you get to the Marines, right? Did you have any issue with like authority there? I mean, you ultimately get into a kind of a
I get court martial,
right?
Yeah.
But initially in boot camp, like, were you worried about that?
No, I mean,
you were like, okay.
When I got down there, there's a psychological issue as soon as you get there. They tell you get off the bus,
right?
Get on the yellow footprints.
Totally.
Well, there's never enough yellow footprints.
It's immediately you're in trouble.
You're in trouble,
right?
So what are you going to do? You start fighting for those footprints,
right? Right.
I saw guys who got off the bus, but I got a great story. My mom and dad had a very unique sense of humor. Even as a Hell's Angel, they always supported me.
Sure.
Later, I got indicted. I mean, they were in court every day. But my mom was a Marine.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, my mom was
a Marine.
My father was a CB. They're both World War II.
Wow.
And
and are they first generation moved to America or second?
No, second.
Second.
So I join. My dad gets a hold of the newspapers.
Okay.
So I get on the bus. We had this charter bus. All of us were going down on the charter bus. That's how many people had enlisted in.
And was this San Diego you were doing it?
Going to San Diego.
Got it.
From
Pendleton.
The bus was loaded in Camarillo.
Right.
And I get on the bus, and everybody's laughing at me. I go, what the fuck's so funny?
Yeah.
And they all hold up the newspaper headline. It says, son follows in mom's footsteps.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's like just a red flag for you. And then if the drill instructors get it, it's like, oh.
Yeah, they never did, but either that or they didn't, and it just, so it's just like the whole Marine experience was just, it was an
and you liked it.
Yeah, I liked it until I started having people order me around that I had no respect for.
Right.
And that,
which is tough, that was kind of not an issue I ever had in the military, but timing is everything.
What was your rank?
So I got out as a lieutenant. I was an 03. So I was in for 10 and then ended up getting out. But, it was a timing thing where it's like, so this guy's been in for 11 years. I've been in for 8 years. He's in charge just because he was here first. Like, what do you mean? So that was always kind of like a frustration I had, not to any extent that it was an issue. It was just me go home and bitch about it,
I had an issue with a gunnery sergeant.
Right.
And he kept picking on me. Him and I even had a private conversation.
Yeah.
Now,
was it justified, do you think?
No.
Okay.
This is really kind of off the wall. He thought I was Mexican.
Okay.
And he was Mexican. And he said I was embarrassing the Mexican Marines.
And what do you say? Like, hey, man.
I go, I'm not Mexican, I'm Greek, so don't worry about it.
Right.
And
he didn't like it.
No, he did not like that. So he kept pushing me. We did this amphibious assault, and was the first amphibious assault since the Pacific War.
Right.
And
okay.
And was a whole battalion of us, and we were out on the ships for like 4 or 5 days, and then we
San Diego.
Yeah, well,
out on the island.
Yeah, we boarded in Coronado down there, and then we came up, spent several days on the sea, and then we came down to ropes,
right?
And which is a real experience because all of a sudden you're there on the deck of the boat, and then it rolls, and you're 15 feet up.
Yeah, it's like D-Day.
Yeah, people were getting hurt.
Yeah.
And so we got on shore, and the sergeant was the gunnery sergeant was riding my ass. He goes, when we get on the fucking beach, Christie, you're mine. You stick with me, And I was like, so we get on the beach, and we're coming out, and we're waist deep water.
Right.
And we got our weapons up.
Right.
And the umpire comes up and tells the gunnery sergeant, "You're dead."
And then you slip him a 20, and
and I go, "Hey, Gunny," I go, "Fuck you."
Yeah, there we go.
And oh man, he's just mad, and so I didn't see him for a day or two.
Right.
And the next day I saw him. He was on the chow line serving food.
Oh, nice.
I said, "Come, give me a little extra, would you?"
So you're asking, you're playing.
I was definitely playing with him. I mean, that's the kind of personality I have.
Totally.
This went on for a while.
Right.
He got me busted. I was a PFC, got me busted down. And it's funny because I'd already been in 4 years. I had a hash mark on my uniform.
And now you busted down
in private.
Man.
So he keep fucking moving. I told him, I said, "You know what, man? I had about enough of your shit."
Right.
I said, "I think you're a fake."
Yep.
And I said, because they were talking about acting, I said, "When we get in country," I go, "You're going first, motherfucker." So he was like,
now he's on edge. Right.
Yeah.
That was like,
so we got that, a lot of shit going on like that.
Right.
Unbeknownst to me,
Right.
I was speaking from the heart. I wasn't trying to be like one of the guys and threatening him.
Totally.
I was totally serious.
Yeah.
And then we got on the rifle range, and we were standing, firing.
Right.
And he was talking shit to me, and there was like 4 or 5 guys between us. And I told him, I go, "Hey," I go, "clear the line." And they all stepped off, and I took my rifle, I put it to my side. And like John Wayne,
sure,
I would draw.
Yeah.
And, he ran off.
Right. This is a private to Gunny.
Yeah. He ran off the range. Told the commander, Christie just threatened me with a rifle. I've got witnesses.
Right.
And I got activated. They sent me to Camp Pendleton.
Right. Did you think when you were doing that, you were like, this could go bad?
Yeah, I didn't think about it.
You were like, probably.
I was tired, man.
Right.
I just was, I warned him to stop.
Sure.
And I felt I had no alternative but to back it up.
Yeah.
And the guys,
they had your back line.
And they knew what was going on between us. So,
but there's just some things you can't.
So I go down there, and I'm down at Camp Pendleton. I got activated, and then they sent me for an evaluation.
Right.
And the doctor tells me, "Go home and wait."
Right.
Those are my orders. Go home and wait.
Sure.
And then Navy intelligence show up at the door.
Right.
And
which is the strangest segue, because then you end up working for the DOD.
But I work for the Department.
It's like you failed up. How'd you get there?
They go, because the doctor kept saying, "Well, you've got really high marks here," and he goes, you couldn't have got away with that." And I go, "Well, I couldn't have got away with it." I go, "But I knew the guy was going to run, and
he's right.
What if he hadn't? We've gotten all that."
Sure. Well, and that's also, I think, a nature of the time too. They needed people.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if we're post Vietnam, it's like, okay, see ya.
Yeah.
But now you're not a dumb guy.
Right.
They see the leadership.
A lot of training.
Right. They paid for you.
Yeah.
They're going to get their money's worth.
So they said, they go, there's jobs out at Point Mugu.
Right.
I mean, Port Hueneme. And I wound up with a job out there.
Yeah.
I had a top secret security clearance.
Right.
And it was a missile testing range out on San Nicolas Island.
Which I've been to. I've landed, we would do landing practice over at San Nick.
Did you go on Santa Cruz ever?
Santa Cruz, no, but San Nick's got that little strip. And I wanted to ask you because now there's a crashed training jet right at the approach end of the runway, and I was curious.
Just leave it there? Was it there?
Yeah, it's still there. It's in the side of the mountain.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
kind of a cool runway because it's not
Very
like,
short.
It's short and it's on a cliff.
Right.
So kind of like an aircraft carrier in that sense, where like your
Right.
sight picture. But yeah, there's a jet crashed right at the approach, and so every time you come to land, it's like, yikes. You know, like what's
A reminder.
every time.
A friendly reminder.
Exactly.
I worked on Santa Cruz, and there was a submarine surveillance system out there.
Right.
This is during the height of the Cold War.
Sure.
And they were concerned about Russian subs coming in. And there was a unit, surveillance unit on Santa Cruz, and then there was one on an island up in the Bay Area.
Okay.
I don't know what the island was.
Right.
And that was my job.
Yeah.
Keep that. That was one of my jobs.
Right.
I did a lot of things, but I kept it up and running. I write about it a little bit in the
You do.
book.
And here's what I find so fascinating, and this just in this early chapter, because next I want to get into, all right, you're in the club. Let's do it.
Party.
Right. Exactly. But it's so interesting because what we kind of talk about in the office are people that, you don't do the normal path, right? People go to high school, they go to college, they get a job, they were, whatever. You kind of almost, it felt like
I was on the line.
you're on that track.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, top secret clearance, got a good job, working for the Department of Defense, but in the back of your mind, it's like, man, but I'm still that guy.
No, there's a sentence in this book that I remember the day. It's very important to me because Beverly and I were in there editing.
Right.
And I wrote the line, and I remember Beverly going, Jesus Christ, and what I say is, this was the first time in my life I felt I fit in.
And this is with
the Outlaw Bike.
Right.
I felt
you found your calling.
It was it. I finally felt at ease and at home and relaxed. And some people would probably go, that's ludicrous. You were relaxed.
But that's like, you talk about, Navy SEALs or combat professional, whatever, where it's like in the height of all stress and whatever, it's like that's when they can kind of focus and they feel good. And that you kind of found your path with that.
Absolutely.
It's like
I was
calming.
Yeah.
I was
right around.
And it got to a point where they kind of give you a decision. You're like, you got this career.
They didn't think, they said, are you really leader of the Hells Angels in Los Angeles?
Because you joined in LA while you're still in the DOD.
Right.
Which I always thought was interesting because you see some guys, like some old, like, salty chiefs roll onto base wearing a patch. And I'm like, is that they're letting you do that? Like, what's the deal? But you were doing that. 2 lives, kind of.
Yeah, I had 2 lives, maybe 3 lives. I had my wife and 2 kids.
Right.
My childhood sweetheart, high school sweetheart, whatever you want to call her, Cheryl. Got Mariah and, Georgie. I'm up on Kern River partying with the Hells Angels, the Satan Slaves, the Losers, and the question marks.
Right.
And Cheryl says, "Hey, he's coming, man." She's talking about little George.
Right.
And I tell the guys, "I got to go, man. I got to jump on that bike."
Yeah.
Just before I was in the club.
So now you're a family man, you're aspiring outlaw biker, and you're
trying my hardest.
Government contractor, shaving your face and going into work and doing that.
It's interesting. Old man John. We're up on Kern River, and there's a Saint slave named Andy Anderson.
Okay.
And we've got him tied to a tree behind us because he took too much LSD.
Right.
So we've got him tied to the tree, and old man John walks up.
Yeah.
And I talk about this in my stage play. It's a very profound for me. So John gets off his bike, and he's huge.
Right.
6'4". He's an old man already.
Right.
And he's old man John.
President at this time?
President of Los
LA.
Angeles. Right. He's always got a cigar in his mouth.
Okay.
And I'm loaded on LSD.
Right.
And I'm standing around the fire. And John, he's pulling on the cigar. And every time he pulls on the cigar, his face lights up.
Yeah.
And he's got all these wrinkles on his face, and I look at the wrinkles, and they break like into little road maps.
Right.
I'm hallucinating.
Sure. Been there.
And I'm like, whoa, and he starts walking towards me.
Right.
He gets up to the fire, and he goes, he's got this cigar in his mouth. Anytime he talked, he would kind of stump down to your level
Right.
And he pulls the cigar out of his mouth and he goes, "Did they save enough rope for you?" And I was like, "What?" And I realized he was talking about Andy.
Oh, right, right.
And
that with a combo of
yeah,
LSD, you're probably like,
yeah, I didn't.
how'd I get
So,
here?
and he goes, "You're that Christie kid."
Right. So you didn't know him at this
No.
point. You're just hanging around.
Right.
Got it.
I go, "Yeah." And he goes, he pulls out his vest like this. Now, you got to realize I'm in a world with a bunch of unwritten laws and rules.
Right. Which is very interesting. And I want to talk about that
And
stuff.
I'm a fledgling guy. And John reaches in, and I'm thinking, man, did I break a rule?
Right.
Is he going to pull out a gun? Is he pulling out a knife? And what he pulled out was a courtesy card. And he gave it to me.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You should come and see me."
Wow. What do you think he saw in you?
I think the Satan slaves and the question marks
vouched.
Were saying this kid's an up and
he's one of the guys.
Because I was partying with the slaves as an independent, which most people didn't do. They were kind of scared of these guys, and I was hanging out with them. I was sleeping at their house on the couch,
comfortable.
Yeah, I was just so I kind of fit right in.
Yeah,
and I went down to the Glen. Was an address on it, a phone number. I've connected with John. Went to the Glendale Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm. That was that.
I became a Hell's Angel after that.
Well, so
not immediately.
Right. Well, I want to fast forward to that. So you tell the story, which I think is a great one, where it's finally that moment. You're going to be a Hell's Angel, right? You're probably like, here third fucking comes, right? And they tell you this comes first. Family, friends, that's all goes aside. This is now your life. Yeah. And you say, "I know," right? Yeah. And what does old man John say to you?
"You don't know nothing."
Right. Which is just, I could I don't know him, but I could see it. This grizzly guy saying that. So
he goes down the list. We come first. This. And he goes, "Well,"
right.
And I can't even talk. I'm so
overwhelmed. Yeah, overwhelmed. This big thing. And since you're 10 years old, it's now happening.
And it's interesting. There's not a mirror, but there's a window there. And John tells Tall Paul to throw the patch. Throw Christie that patch.
Right.
And so I catch it like in my chest and I hold it out, look at it.
Right.
And it's like the death head is looking at me.
Yeah.
It's like breathing.
Totally.
It's got a life of its own. And he goes, "Well, put it on." And I put the patch on and I'm looking at myself and I see that outlaw.
Right.
From so many years ago. And it morphs into old man John. And then suddenly I'm standing there.
Right.
And I was so overwhelmed. I wanted to hug John.
Right.
And I ran up to John to hug him. And he punched me in the chest.
Wake up call.
Yeah.
Right.
Goes, "Don't ever let your guard down." Goes,
everything
"What's wrong
comes
with
back
you?"
in.
And then everybody jumped up and we're pushing each other and shoving each other.
Totally.
And then we took off to Purdue, and Betty, who made the patches, we went to her place, and I had my actual Levi jacket. She sewed the patch on my jacket that she had hand stitched.
Wow.
Before
right.
Yeah.
Well,
it was no machine. I mean, it was a machine.
Right,
but it wasn't.
doing it.
Yeah, she's doing it by hand.
Which is cool because you could probably see imperfections in everybody's.
Yeah, it was just
But that's so interesting the way you talk about how you now see all these people, because I used to think about that in uniform too, right? I may be wearing this one, but so many people have worn it before.
Right.
And whenever you put that patch on, now you're a representative. You're not just you anymore.
You're
part of something bigger.
This is what I think is important. You just hit on to something, and I bet it's from your military background. You understand you're part of something bigger than yourself.
That's it. And that's why they break you down first, and build you back up as you, as the collective club or whatever organization. You have to.
I think that's partially what's wrong with the goddamn world today. I think that you graduate. I think man, woman, whatever you are, serve the country somehow.
Right.
Contribute. Contribute somehow
in whatever way.
Yes, and make some options.
Right.
And teach these people some discipline.
Yep.
And it's lacking. And, people can go, "Oh, look, man, he finally got old," No, I've always felt like that.
Totally.
And, I lived my life, I was an outlaw, but I lived my life very rigid, very restricted. I lived by and this may sound ludicrous to some people, I live by my own moral code.
Right.
And I didn't adjust the moral code to the situation.
Totally.
I had a code, a morality, and that's what I went by. And the guys that came in Ventura, Ventura for me was a very unique charter.
Right.
When we left Los Angeles, there's a lot of reasons I left Los Angeles. Very complex.
There's a lot of heat on you at that time.
Oh my God!
Right, and there were 2 clubs there. Wasn't there like 2 different charters within?
Okay, I'll jump ahead. What happened was we were fighting the Mongols,
Right,
and I mean it was urban.
And this is what year?
Fight, 1977.
Okay.
We got to fight with them in April. And by Guy Castiglione, a very close friend of mine.
I'm glad you said that name because I've read it a million times. I'm like, I wonder how he says that. It's interesting.
Castiglione.
Yeah.
He was the leader of San Diego, probably one of the most, I don't know, I don't want to turn violent, but I guess.
Just had to mess with him.
There's no other way to describe it,
right?
And in 1977, in April, we got to fight with them, the Mongols. There was 9 of us, 40 to 60 of them.
Wow.
We ultimately, the last holiday of the year in September, Guy Castiglione decided he'd had enough of their shit, if you will.
Yeah.
And he killed 2 of them on the freeway. Machine gunned them down.
And that was just him on his own? He's like,
no, he had a driver.
Yeah. Got it.
And was a guy in the back seat. I'm not going to mention his name.
Sure.
My suspicion is he froze. And Guy killed Jingles and Redbeard, both members of the Mongols. And ultimately he got indicted for it.
Right.
The driver ratted on him.
Wow. Club member,
yeah, ratted on him, and which slowly eroded the club from the inside. All these rats, and we can get into that if you want to talk about that.
I definitely do. Yeah, I definitely do.
So Guy, I mean, after that, 2 weeks later, a bomb is set at a bike shop in Los Angeles. Doesn't go off.
Right.
I had protested. I just got out of the Marine.
Right.
I knew about collateral damage.
Right.
I knew about building bombs and whatever. And I had protested and refused to help people. And my punishment was I had to go retrieve the bomb that didn't go off.
Right.
And
not as cool as going to gym class with the girls.
Not as cool.
Worst punishment.
That was some punishment.
Right.
And old man John, he's an interesting guy. Basically, he told me, you're a spoke on a wheel, man.
Right. Bigger than you.
Yeah. You just roll with it.
Yeah.
He goes, you want to last in this business? And I said, yeah. And he goes, don't ask so many fucking questions.
Right.
The old man tells me I got to go get the bond. I said, why? He said, because you protested. Because you got to show everybody you're on board. People are going, this guy ain't even on board.
Could be a red flag.
Yeah.
And you're new-ish at this time?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're the new guy.
So I go, okay. And he goes, who do you want to take with you? And I go, I want to take Jesse with me. And I was a member. Jesse was a prospect. Jesse and I go over there. I get up on the roof, and I'm looking for a pipe, vent.
Right.
And he said on the side of the pipe, there's going to be a hook. And he goes, at the end of that rope is the bond.
Perfect.
Yeah. And, I have no idea what type of...
what they use. Or,
what type of detonation devices on it. And, I'm trying to get information out of John.
Right.
So when I told you, quit asking questions. And I'm trying to be logical with John. It was just being logical with it.
Totally.
He'd already made up his mind. You're going to go get that fucking bond.
Right.
And because he was taking it personal, because I was his...
You were his guy. Yeah.
And
now he wants you to prove, hey, you're on board with us.
Yeah. And you're just going to go do it. You're not going to ask any questions.
Right.
And that's what I did. But anyways, I'm pulling the bomb up,
Right.
and it's like, oh shit, and I get it up there, and it's dynamite wrapped in a package. I don't know, probably 10 sticks of dynamite.
Right.
And what they'd done, the thought was, they suspended it over the shop, and they were going to detonate it.
Right.
And the bomb was supposed to flag down.
Sure.
Yeah, shrapnel down.
Right.
And anybody in the room would
Be done.
So we got it. I started lowering it. I walked to the side of the building, and I started lowering it, and it starts swinging. It's the side of the brick building.
Right. Yeah.
Jesse's just going, motherfucker.
And are you a little freaked out too, or
yeah?
Right.
I mean, shit.
Well, sometimes there's this perception of the Hell's Angels. They're not scared.
Well,
but now you're a young guy.
I never used the term scared.
Right.
Cautious. I
Fair.
was cautious.
Fair.
So we get it down. I get off the roof, and then I'm looking at Jesse. Jesse's looking at me, and then we start arguing. Where do we put it?
Right. Yeah. Didn't get that far.
Put it in the trunk. Over the gas. Yeah. Well, let's put it in the back seat so shrapnel can hit us in the back of the.
Right.
And then we just finally went. Don't matter where we fucking put it.
Right.
If it's gonna blow,
we're done.
Done.
Yep.
So we put it in the back seat, and I remember going over some railroad tracks, not seeing them, and
Yikes! And you're just white knuckling.
And I look at Jesse, and Jesse looks at me, and we were so tense.
Yeah.
We just broke into hysterics.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what else are you going to do?
Yeah, we just started laughing hysterically. We were told to go back out. We had a garage in downtown LA. It was like we called it the Armory.
Right.
We had 2,000 pounds of dynamite.
Right.
Guy stole the dynamite off a work site. Guy took 2,000, gave us 2,000 pounds.
Sure. And you had other stuff in there too, right?
Well,
Didn't you have?
Tell you.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, we had machine guns.
Right.
We had American-made, Russian-made. We had a lathe. We were building silencers. I remember the first silencer I built. I didn't put it together right, and I screwed it all up. And I lived out in a rural area in Ojai.
Right.
I'd shoot machine guns up there.
Sure.
Check stuff out. And I remember shooting the whole silencer comes apart. This is like all those chambers. Yeah, the whole thing, the washers and the chambers with the steel wool in it.
Right.
I had to figure out how to do it. But anyways,
yeah.
We also have a British anti-tank weapon,
and that's what I wanted because I knew there were some big.
Yeah, and it's the size of a car.
Right.
When I say the size of the car, it's as tall as the car.
Right.
The tripod it's on. And they actually took that to the desert and fired it. I never went with it.
Right. Just to try it?
Just to try it out.
And what'd they say? Was it cool?
Yeah, it was bitchy.
Yeah, I bet it was.
And I remember saying, these guys don't even have a tank.
Right. What are we doing?
It was kind of my off the wall sense of humor.
Sure.
Some of the guys didn't get it, and they go, "Yeah, but they could get one."
Right. We're ready if they do.
Yeah, I was kind of like, "No, man, that's not the joke."
Well, let me backtrack it just a little, and then I want to talk about.
Let me tell you.
Okay,
finish that story.
Yeah, please.
So, you got 2,000 pounds of dynamite, anti-tank gun, machine guns, silencers, handguns. Anytime anybody could buy a handgun off the street, you just buy it and take it to them there, bring it to the armory, and then grind the numbers off of it.
Right.
And so it's fully stocked. John gets so frustrated with the war and the politics, the inner politics of the club. Him and Sonny are fighting. Sonny's getting ready to parole. They're talking about holding his parole up.
He's in prison at this time.
They're blaming John for the parole being held because his members are running amok in Los Angeles, shooting people, bombing people.
Right.
Downtown LA.
Sure.
Imagine.
Yeah.
So he says, I'm done. I had it. And a new guy takes over. And the new guy gets busted.
Right.
And
this is new president of LA.
Ray Glore.
Right.
And after the bust, he calls Jesse and tells Jesse to take a couple of guys, go over to the armory and move everything. And one of us move it, get it, and then call me. I'll tell you where to take it.
Right.
Well, he gets there.
Yeah.
And, he gets out of the car. As soon as he puts the lock in the key in the lock,
right,
just cops everywhere.
They knew.
Around the place. Yeah.
Wow.
He had apparently gave up the information. He got busted to get out of that problem. He said, "Lord, I'll give you some dynamite, machine gun."
Right.
Not the two interesting things happened.
Yeah.
Ray Bloor got killed.
In that moment, yeah, that
a day later.
Got it.
I can't remember the time frame. There's been so many years. And that was the last time I asked Old Man John what happened.
Right.
He said, "I thought I fucking told you to quit asking questions."
And they finally got through, and
I just went, "Okay, I get it."
Right.
But so now we've got Jesse and the two other guys with this dynamite.
Right.
They're trying to link up to the bombing that killed a Mongol and his cousin.
Right.
Downtown L.A.
Mm-hmm.
The place I took the bomb out of,
right,
they placed another one in there, and it went off this time.
Got it. They figured it out. Yeah.
And the interesting thing is the guy that was the driver for Guy, he was the bomb builder, and he was also the informant.
Oh,
he eventually ratted Guy out and ratted the guy out that took the bomb into the shop.
But he was the one that built it? So he just set him up.
It was very, it was ingenious.
It's tricky. Yeah, it's
he stuffed the tire, took a tire apart, stuffed it full of dynamite.
Right.
And I don't know how many sticks were in it. And then he used the valve stem as a detonator.
Wow.
So when you...
Yeah.
The valve stem came up, and when it hit, the
bomb
went off. Yeah, and that's what detonated it. And it's kind of a genius.
Totally.
Kind of like, I don't know if you'd call it a pressure valve, I guess, in a sense.
Right.
But, so now you've got Ray dead. You've got Jesse with a beef. Right. The other two guys with a beef.
Right.
But one of the lawyers says to the prosecutor, "What was in the garage?"
Right.
Well, what do you mean? What was in the garage when he opened the garage?
Yeah.
We never got in the garage. He goes, "Well, there was nothing in there." He goes, "What do you mean nothing?" He goes, "Well, for public safety, we had to take everything out of the garage."
Right.
And he goes, "So he was entering,
just going in.
He went to an empty garage. That's when he was trying to enter." He goes, "Do you know what his state of..." I mean, they got
right, totally
debate. Yeah, they wind up giving him probation.
Wow.
You know,
manipulating the
whole
story. Yeah.
And that was my first kind of legal experience.
Right.
I saw how it worked, and it was very interesting. I talked John into taking the charter back over.
Right.
The caveat with John was I would be vice president.
Right.
And he already had plans. He turned it over to me within 6 months.
Got it.
And
was your plan to bring it? Were you at this point thinking I was taking to Ventura?
My plan was to come back to Ventura.
Because you
probably 5 years.
Right. You just personally wanted to be here.
Right.
And now you kind of see it as a good opportunity.
Circumstances happen. So, Old Man John, after that incident, told me, he said, "Do you understand now why you pay your bail bondsmen and you pay your lawyers?"
Right.
And he goes, "And I want you to pay them in that order. You always pay the bondsman, and then you pay your lawyer. Get the bondsman his money so you get out.
Right.
Get the lawyer's money so you get out."
Yeah.
And
write that down, Sawyer. Right, we might need that.
You never know.
Right.
So now we're in the middle of an urban war.
Right. In L.A.
Still. In the middle of everything, the Orange County Sheriff's Department has planted an informant in the midst of everything. And they absolutely won't share the information. They know about the bombings. They know about the machine gunnings, but they won't tell LAPD. They won't tell LA sheriffs. They won't tell ATF. All the agencies are holding.
They want it.
They want to be the guys.
They want the big win.
Guys.
Yeah.
So I come up with this thought. If I could talk to Satan's slaves into becoming Hell's Angels, suddenly there'd be 20 new Hells Angels in San Fernando Valley
that they're not looking at.
Yeah, and we would pack up. We would move to Ventura.
Right.
And
just leave the scene of the crime.
Not say a word.
Right.
And no, back then you could get away with this.
Yeah.
Because they didn't
know.
They didn't know. They didn't share information.
Right.
So suddenly the Satan slaves become Hell's Angels. What do they want to do? They want everyone to see them. They're now Hell's Angels.
Right.
So they're everywhere on their bikes.
Right.
So
that's the smoke goes up and
what
you
I
sneak
did
out.
was I made what I called, and this is how I presented it to the slaves.
Right.
And this is how I presented it to the Hells Angels. We made a tactical retreat from Los Angeles to Ventura.
Totally.
I wound up getting in a big argument with Sonny several years later.
Right.
When he tells me his famous, him and I are butting heads on club policies. I'm starting to kind of become my own man in the club, and I'm finding out there's a lot of people supporting some of my ideas, and powerful people.
Right.
And but they didn't want to be the front man. They wanted me to be the front man.
Sure, right.
And because some of the front men in the past were no more.
Right. Well, and I want to ask you some of that. But so were your guys on board going to Ventura? They were like, let's do it.
I kicked out.
Let's get out of this.
I went to John and I said, this is my idea.
Right.
I went to Animal, famous Hells Angel.
Right.
Who I went to elementary school with.
No shit.
And helped me establish Ventura. He came here. But there's a funny story behind that too. But I'm thinking, this is what we're going to do, John.
Right.
And we're going to get rid of the weak links.
Right.
Now, Jesse's a member now, and he's one tough son of a bitch.
Right.
And I said to Jesse, I want you to come with me. I'm going to go hit the old man up.
Right.
So I tell John, we got to get rid of the weak links.
Mm-hmm.
I said, can I go and trim the fat?
Right.
And he goes, can you pull it off? And I go, what do you think?
Right.
And he goes, you got my blessing.
So, right.
Jesse and I went out that night and basically cleaned house.
Yeah.
Got rid of all the people we felt were suspect or wouldn't hold up. Never said a word. I told the guys in the Bay Area what I was doing.
Right.
They knew we were moving to Ventura, but they didn't know we were going to change our name. We were Los Angeles Hells Angels.
They just saw you're moving.
Yeah, and I came up here. I said, we are now the Ventura Hells Angels.
Right.
I went to the officers' meeting, and I stood up, and I told them everybody we kicked out of the club.
Right.
I told them everything that happened. It was very spontaneous and fast. Told them, this guy's dead, this guy's this guy's that. And I said, don't ask any questions. I'm not answering any questions.
Right.
And I said, we are now known as Ventura.
Right.
And Moldy Martin from Oakland goes, fuck that, you can't do that.
And how'd you feel? Were you like, oh shit, they're not buying it?
No, I said, well,
is what it is.
I sat down and they said, Los Angeles business. And I wouldn't stand up.
Right.
And they said, Los Angeles business. And I wouldn't stand up. And then finally, one of the Oakland members that I was friends with that was very close to Animal.
Right.
Goes, Ventura business. And that's how,
and that was that.
That was it. I came up, stood up, and everybody clapped.
Right.
I took a little bow.
Nice.
I really amped it up.
Totally. And Ventura,
Marvin and I, that created a bond between us.
Right.
And later, when we had a big run down here in Ventura, Police Chief Owens from the Oxnard Police Department surrounded us. We were in McGrath State Beach.
Right.
Big run.
Right where I live.
Yeah. And they surrounded us. And, I wanted Sonny to come with me to talk to Owens.
Right.
Sonny wouldn't come with me. He sent Marvin. And so Marvin and I went over to talk to Chief Owens. They were surrounding the camp. He was in almost like one of these Airstream trailers, but it was all equipped with all
command center, mobile.
Exactly. It was a mobile command center. That's exactly what it was. And at the time, you have to understand, Oxnard was the heroin capital of the world per capita.
Right.
By the population.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. The Mexican mafia had a whole
on the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they controlled it all. So anyways, Marvin and I go to talk to Chief Owens, and I'm trying to be logical.
Right.
And I tell Chief Owens, I go, this expenditure is not necessary.
Right.
And Marvin looks like a Hell's Angel.
Right. Right.
And serious guy,
Yeah.
And I mean, killed a guy once because he didn't like the way he shook his hand. I mean, he's a very serious guy.
Right.
And I'm not bragging.
No,
This is
that's who he is.
This is who he is.
Right.
I want the people viewing this to get an understanding.
Totally.
So we go in there to talk to him, and so Chief Owens said, "Will you Hell's Angels have a terrible reputation?" And Molly Marvin standing next to me, and he goes, "That's right. We worked hard for it."
It's just the best.
Yeah, I mean,
You can't write that.
no, you can't. I looked at him and I went, "Jesus, why didn't I say that?"
Right. Totally.
And Marvin and I walked out of that meeting. It's like it drew a line at the stand saying, and Marvin and I walked out of that meeting, and we were like brothers for life till he died. He looked at me and he goes, "Jesus Christ, man, where do you come up with the big words?" Because I was trying to be intellectual.
Sure.
And I go, "Where'd you come up with that saying?" He goes, "Well, goddamn, we did work hard for it, didn't we, George?"
And no thought by just that's it.
Yeah. And I, during the RICO trial,
Right.
I did a post a couple of days ago. Mueller
Mm-hmm.
was the guy that went after Trump. Was the guy that went after the Hells Angels.
Right.
And so Marvin went on the run.
Okay.
And Marvin had this giant beard and this hair, and I'll tell you, when he came back from being on the run, I didn't recognize him.
Just said it had gone.
Didn't recognize. He had his hair short.
Oh, he had cleaned
He shaved
up.
his beard, and he had been on a fishing boat, working on a fishing boat.
Wow.
That's where he went on the run. I think in Alaska.
Well, that's a good way to not be found, huh?
Yeah. But he came back and he goes, "I hear the case is all done now.
Right.
He goes, I hear you guys are looking for me." And
Sure.
Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to jump in now. I want to fast forward a little bit. You're now established in Ventura, and I want to talk. A big bulk of this book talks about the leadership dynamics between you and Sonny.
It was
There's a lot.
very exciting time.
It sounds like it, but it's interesting because a lot of the other books that I've read, right? Some of yours, some others, they talk about this outlaw world and it's partying and it's girls and all this stuff. This is so much more reflective, and there's a lot of difficulties that you were up against. So I want to start with get some insight from you on Sonny, because you talk about the first time you met him, right? You had heard about him, he had heard about you. He kind of comes out of the house and you see him, and it seems like it's like a celebrity, right? At this point, he's the guy.
He's the man.
The man.
Now, you got to understand, I'm at Russell Baya's house.
Okay.
And they want Los Angeles's best man.
Right.
See, I met him when I was in Los Angeles.
Right.
They want Los Angeles's best man who's in prison, Irish O'Farrell.
Right.
They want to take him from us and transfer him to Oakland.
Right. They're recruiting.
Yes. And I say no. Everybody was afraid to vote against it but me.
Right.
I voted no.
Because he was your guy.
Yeah, I was right way, man. I'm not giving up Irish. And so I go to Russell Baya's house.
Right.
Now, Russell Baya had just paroled from San Quentin prison.
Mm-hmm.
He was part of that situation when Moldy Marvin killed that guy.
Right.
For the way they shook hands. They got arguing about the handshake.
Got it.
Prior to that, Russell had been at the Polish Women's Hall in Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that knows their Hells Angel history knows what happened there.
Right. Cleveland was a gnarly.
Yes.
There's the whole like Butch Crouch saga.
Okay.
Right.
Butch, who
that's Cleveland.
Yes.
Deal.
Yeah. I'm at Russell's, and Russell's saying, "We're getting Irish."
Right.
And I go, "No, you're not."
Right.
And he's just like, "Motherfucker."
Right.
So you're not? I go, "Hey, Russell." I go, "We got protocol in this club."
Right.
I go, "There's a rule. No transfers while in prison." Am I right or am I wrong? He goes, "You're right." And I go, you want to get Irish?
Right.
Change a rule.
Right.
And he's just like,
You got him.
He goes, you motherfucker.
Right.
You know, he goes, you're not going to give in, are you? I go, I am not going to give in.
Right.
And he goes, okay. He goes, you know, we're going to get Irish eventually.
Sure.
And I said, of course you are.
Right.
But you're not
now.
Today.
Yeah.
And
right.
He laughed, you know.
Sure.
And, now, I had a special connection with Russell because Russell had been a Satan slave.
Okay.
Before he became a Hell's Angel.
Got it.
Russell got in the Hell's Angels, immediately became part of that power vacuum, you know, that just controlled
Oakland.
Yeah.
Right.
So he goes, there's somebody who wants to meet you. Now, we're on Golf Links Road.
Okay.
And Russell lives up here. Sonny lives down here on the opposite side of the street.
Right.
And I go, really? I knew, you know.
Right. You feel coming.
And I'm just like, fuck, man, I'm going to go fucking meet the man.
Is this the same kind of energy you're feeling right before Old Man John gives you the patch? Or it's like, oh, here it comes. I know it's coming.
I'm going to meet him. So we ride our bikes up there, and Sonny walks out of the house, man. There he is, straight out of Folsom Prison.
And what'd you think?
I thought, I'm going to meet the fucking man. Right? That's exactly how I thought. And, you know, it's like, and I think there's a line in the book that on my way home from that meeting, I was like, all my instincts told me, you're fucking swimming in shark-infested waters.
Did he have that aura around him where it's like, like, I got to be careful here?
Yeah.
But was he like a charismatic guy? Was he friendly?
Very friendly. We went to the house, discussed the Mongol War.
Right. Was it professional or was like, hey, George, you know what?
No.
There was, let's talk business.
Yeah, very professional. He had this aura about him that he was not going to let down. And I don't know if he ever let her down around me, to be honest with you. And I could tell you about other meetings I had with him. You know, he disrespected me on the phone once, and I got on a plane and flew up.
Right.
He called him.
You write about that.
Yeah.
Right.
And which is interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we talk maybe an hour, and he dismisses me by telling me, you know, Animal's looking for you.
Right.
And I go, really? And he goes, yeah, he's at the clubhouse. And so.
That was his way to be like, I'm done talking to you.
I'm dismissing you.
Right.
But it was, you know, I didn't see it that way till later. I figured, you know, he dismissed me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that reminds me of a story. I remember we were deployed. We're in Dubai in a hotel drinking, right? I was really close with our XO. He went through training. He was getting a refresher when I was first learning, and we kind of followed each other, you know. So now we're in Dubai. The commanding officer, great guy. We're all drinking, and he would drink, and we'd lose him. Right, he'd get just kind of zombie mode, and we're all having a good time. I'm kind of new in the squadron. I think I'm welcome. I'm hanging out with the bosses, like things are good. And the skipper looks at me. He goes, "Well, Morgan, it was great having you." And I'm like, "Are we done?" And he's like, "Well, we'll see you later." I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess that's my cue." And I had to just get out of there. I was like, "That's it."
Yeah, I mean,
and it's like that.
He was very respectful.
Right, not an asshole.
No, he just says, "Animal's looking for you."
It's now time.
And I knew.
Exactly.
But I knew I didn't take it like a dismissal at the time. Right. I figured it out later on the way home. I got the motherfucker dismissed.
Right. Did you leave that meeting thinking, okay, that went well? Like I'm building a rapport. Like...
He told me, because you got high marks.
Right.
He goes, Slave Louis, who was a legend in the Hells Angels and Satan Slaves.
Right.
He goes, man, them slaves got nothing but fine stuff to say about you.
Right.
We talk about tactics, but we don't get into things. And then later, probably 3 years later, 4 years later, there's just a fiasco at a run, and the club is divided.
This is Sturgis.
We're supposed to go to Sturgis.
Right.
And
was that the first, so you're now a leader in Ventura. Sonny is the de facto leader of the club.
He's the face of the voice of the club.
Now, was there ever a time where you thought he's going to take you under his wing, and
I was
you're going
asked
to be
to transfer to Oakland.
You were
by Cisco Valderrama
to be his kind of.
Just
you were just
we need people like you up in Oakland,
right?
And I said no. I go, they need people like me in Southern California,
right?
And I go, wouldn't you prefer to see Ventura in San Fernando Valley and Purdue and San Diego
all do well?
Wouldn't you prefer us to be just seen like you guys are up here?
Right.
Complete control of our areas.
And they did actually.
Huh?
Did they want that?
I don't know.
They wanted the power.
They wanted the power up there.
Well, that's such an interesting.
And Cisco told me, he goes, I'm just telling you, you always got a home.
Right.
And but Cisco and I had he took Sonny's place.
Right.
But you know what happened when we went on 60 Minutes together, right? Cisco and I.
He didn't do well.
No,
right?
He did not.
You did well.
I did well. I
right.
think the producers called me and they go, we think that we got a bit of. They were being kind of facetious.
Right.
And problem. I go, what's that? And they go, fucking Cisco does not look good.
Right.
And he's stumbling and he's clumsy. And they go, and here you are just breezing through
shining,
the
questions.
Right. And the lawyers were laughing at Cisco. They go, why did you pull the stage hook, George? And I was like, Jesus. I said, if Cisco hears you say that, he will fuck you guys up.
Right.
Right on the spot.
Right.
And, Cisco's like 250 pounds.
Sure.
But
not the charismatic leader. Or what was he off camera typically, or not really? Because that's a lot of pressure.
Well, let me tell you how his tenure started at
yeah.
Los Angeles. Goes to a meeting, and this club is getting ready to become Hell's Angels. Cisco pulls a gun out to the meeting.
Okay.
And he goes, you, take it off. You're okay.
Right.
You, take it off.
Right.
And he goes to this is a story that's told in the club. It's like a legend.
Right.
They go to Rick, and he goes, who the fuck are you? And then Rick goes, I'm Rick, and I want to be part of your club.
It's the perfect answer.
Yeah. And that's how Cisco
got it.
So,
So that mentality.
Yeah.
So.
But, it's beautiful because I told him, I said, Cisco, I go, being on these television shows and being under this pressure, it's not as easy as it looks.
Right.
And I was, I didn't want to say, I don't think you could do it.
Right.
But I didn't think he could do it.
Right.
And he didn't.
Right.
And he blamed me.
Yeah.
Because I said to him, I go, you really want to go up against Mike Wallace?
Right.
Let's fuck Mike Wallace.
He's not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you about media since we're on it.
All right.
You joined this club as like an outlaw. I'm not in society. I'm doing my own thing. Right.
Little did I know.
Every turn you're on, it's a different interview, or we've got Hell's Angels documentary. You're carrying the Olympic torch. There's all these things where you are in the media. So
let me tell you how that came about.
Yeah, please.
So we start realizing people are trying to steal our patch.
Right.
And we have enough intelligence, and the guys are astute enough to know we've got to protect it.
Sure. So
we incorporate the name and the logo.
Right.
And then we decide to create a trademark board.
Mm-hmm.
And
smart.
So we hire Limbach and Sutton, whose other clients are Levi Strauss.
Right.
Coca-Cola.
Sure. Good American brands.
Yeah. And Mr. Sutton starts educating me.
Right.
And he teaches me the most important thing I probably ever learned in my life when you deal with the media.
Mm-hmm.
You have to control the narrative.
Which I have written down right here, and I want to ask you about that. Was that the play? Like, is it notoriety? Like, we're going to show everyone we're the Hells Angels, like, we're awesome. Or is it like, we got to get in front of this and control it?
I'll tell you how that happened.
Yeah.
I'm up in, I can tell you exactly where it happened. I'm in Buellton at the Chevron station.
Yep.
I'm heading to Oakland. And we pull in there and, been on a roll for 2 or 3 days. Like, people see me now and they think this and that.
Right.
I was in the trenches, my friend.
Totally.
I was up partying with the best of them.
Right.
And so we come up there. Now, I had tattoos before people had tattoos like that. They weren't popular. People had just piece tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
I started getting into this different style of complete tattooing.
Right.
So I've got long hair, really long hair.
Right.
And I'm riding a chopper.
Of course.
And I got some radical looking guys with me.
Right.
And because that's the crew we run
Right.
with.
This is Ventura's role.
David Ortega.
Right.
I'm pulling a gas station and the people are locking their doors. And I think I'm laughing,
Right.
How fucking cool is that, man?
For sure.
And I'm thinking about that outlaw, and I'm thinking about never letting anybody laugh at me again.
Right. Yeah.
And
you're kind of like realizing that dream. Like you're there. Now you're the guy. Yeah.
And we get on the freeway and I'm banging through the gears.
Right.
And I get on the freeway and I see another family like looking at us. I'm looking away and I'm thinking, wait a minute. These are the same people who are going to sit on our juries.
Right. Oh, that's such an interesting take.
And I think, man, and I start the whole way to Oakland and then we hook up with Limbaugh and Sutton, and Mr. Sutton's telling me, you got to protect your brand.
Wow.
You got to protect your brand,
Totally.
I'm really got to protect our brand.
Well, and that's so smart because like that's really who's gonna dictate how you guys operate, right?
And then what's interesting is how do you protect your brand? Well, guess what happened? Levi Strauss, MasterCard.
Mm-hmm.
It was either Coca-Cola or PepsiCo.
Mm-hmm.
Find out they're representing us.
Right.
They don't want their brand brushing up against our brand.
Right.
Because we're the Hells Angels.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sutton calls me on the phone and says, I got to talk to you. I said, yeah, what's up? And he goes, well, I'd prefer you to come up. And I go, well, just, let's talk.
Right.
And he goes, no, I want to talk to you in person. He goes, you're a businessman. You'll understand what I have to say.
Right.
And I basically went up there and said, show me the bill for those 3 accounts.
Right.
It came to close to $1 million for 2 or 3 months.
Right.
And then he showed us the Hell's Angel bill. They were doing it like for token money. They were doing it on a lark.
Right.
It was kind of cool to see.
And now you cost them these huge accounts.
Yeah.
Right.
And he goes, George, we got to let you go, man.
Yeah.
I can't represent you.
Wow.
And it's interesting because they put us in touch with another lawyer fresh out of law school. And him and I wound up just being the adversary. He became Sonny's personal lawyer.
Right.
And it was, him and I had it out a few times. I said, you either serve Sonny or you serve the Hells Angels.
Right.
I can't serve 2 masters. I go, what's it going to be? And, he wanted to do both.
Right. Well, he's getting paid twice.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me ask you this about Sonny then, because that seems like a red flag to me, right? Like this guy's going to use, there's so many stories you tell about Sonny. And I'm reading it like, why wasn't the rest of the club saying, no, I'm not doing this?
I can't answer that, but I will tell you this. I get so mad at him sometimes.
Right.
But he's Sonny Barger.
Right.
And I can't help it,
What makes him that, though? Because all these things, right? You write about members, you don't know where they are. You talk about money. You talk about, getting in fights and all this stuff. What did he have that did that? Was it, I think of it as 2 ways. Was he this charismatic leader that everybody is like, I've got to follow this guy. He's our guy. Or was he so calculated that he had stuff on people and he could do what he wanted?
I think he represented something like, if you want something
mm-hmm.
and it's somewhat elusive to you, when you get there, you finally get there, it's almost like you have to have the chalice.
Right.
And the problem I had with Sonny is, and everything I wrote in the book, everything we're talking about, I've said to Sonny's face.
Right.
Right. I mean, we came very close to fighting the last time we met. I walked in the Oakland clubhouse. It's now 2005 or 6.
Mm. And
he goes, we may fight over this. And I took my glasses off. I had a second with me, right? So I'm going to make sure nobody came up standing or something.
Right.
And I took my glasses off. And he looked at me like, motherfucker. You know,
Right.
He just,
You ready? You calling the bluff?
you called my bluff, you know. And I didn't want to fight him.
Right.
And he didn't want to fight me because of, I would have fought Berlin.
Right.
You know, and it certainly would have put a chink in his armor. But anyways, look, there were times I loved him. There were times I fucking hated him.
Right.
And
do you think he evolved, or did you just see more of him?
No, he did not evolve. He was not sophisticated. You know, I'm going to say this, man. I know some people are going to get mad at me, but, you know, he was prehistoric at times, man. You know, he really was. And I tried to make him see the vision as I saw it.
Right.
He didn't want to see it. You know, we had the last meeting we had with him was over the 911 call.
Mm-hmm.
And,
with his wife, girlfriend.
Yeah, he called. He got in a fight with with Noelle.
Right.
He threw her to the ground.
Right.
She said she couldn't move, and he
calls the ambulance.
Called an ambulance, but he stayed on the phone. They switched the call to the police, and he started saying things he shouldn't have said.
Right.
Said she tried to run me off the roof.
Right.
Does she have a gun in the car? Notice, do you guys have a gun? He goes, well, I don't. I think she's got one in the car.
Right.
Are you guys on drugs? Well, I'm not. See, he said things that he was
just talking to the cops at all.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. He said stuff that could have put her in a compromising position. And what you have to understand, all Hell's Angel leaders talk to police at one point in their career, in their tenure.
You talk about in Ventura.
Yeah.
You talk about being friendly. You know, you respect these guys. You're working together.
Yeah. You're trying
some respect.
Yeah, exactly. Without creating and compromising anybody's freedom.
You're making both jobs easier by having a relationship.
I mean, you know, and that some of the things I did were provocative. I think there's in there, and I never talked about it before. When the police were going, they were off the wire, and I hired a private investigator.
Right.
And investigated them.
Sure.
And had her dossier on them.
Yeah. Smart.
Turned it into the future chief of police.
Right.
And he goes, what are you going to do with this? I go, what are you going to do with it?
Right. Well, all of your moves seem so calculated. And the other big topic I want to talk about is that your vision for the club was peace between people. And the way I read that is like, I want to go party with my friends. I don't want us all killing each other and doing all this stuff.
I was tired of going to funerals.
Right.
And I was tired of writing people in prison. And I was tired, selfishly, of getting indicted.
Right.
Every time I got indicted, looking at life on one count.
Right.
On the other. The next indictment, 59 counts. I never would have got out.
And how did you compartmentalize that? Because I've had some experiences where, you know, I get a little anxious, right? And if I know things are happening or I'm worried about something, it's like, it's just on a loop in my mind.
I think it has to do with my martial arts training.
Okay. You're able to live your life.
Well,
you have these
certainly was on my mind.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's so much nicer going to sleep now. When I tell Beverly goodnight,
you're not worried who's going to knock on the door tomorrow.
I'm not worried in the morning.
Right.
And, you know, it's like my last experience with the cops. I'm over here on the avenue in Ventura at my house. And my grandfather's on it one time. And I hear my dog bark. And then it does another bark. And then I go, that bark,
there's something.
He's telling me, right, there's something out here. I get dressed. I'm going down the stairs, and I hear the neighbor. Are you guys really FBI agents? I get all the FBI shit on.
Yeah.
And so that was 2011. That
was
my last indictment. And, you know.
And that was with the Ink House.
They said that I had ordered the fire bombings of tattoo shops.
Right, got it.
Now, did I ever order the fire bombings? I actually told them in a meeting, this is not
good.
Good.
Right.
Leave them alone.
Right.
And like one guy said, I'm going after them. And I said, what do you care?
Right.
I go, you're not even in the tattoo business.
Right.
And I said, leave it to me. It's my tattoo business. The tattoo business had changed so much.
Right.
It was no longer a closed type business.
Right.
Did we ever threaten anybody? No. Did we have the air of threat.
Right. You didn't have to say it.
I didn't have to say it.
Right. They knew.
People come to me and go, I want to open a shop up. What do you think? Well, what do you think? I would say. I said, you know what? I think Oxnard is a better place for you.
Right.
I said, it'd be perfect for you.
Right. Let me help you.
Yeah. And, I mean, but I didn't tell them they couldn't.
Right.
Well,
yeah, I mean, so your vibe in the whole club, and that's why I kind of read this book as a leadership book, right?
It is.
That's what you're reflecting on, is your tenure as a leader in this organization.
I didn't write it consciously
as that.
But I'll tell you what happened. A good friend of mine, he's not in the club, he's not associated with the club. I sent it to him, and he goes, "Man, what a book on leadership!"
Right.
I go, "Really?" And he goes, "George," he goes, "Man, read it again."
Yeah.
He goes, "You need to read it."
Totally. And I've read leadership books that have nothing to do with motorcycles.
Right.
And now it's a blend of two interests, right? Yeah. But the moves that you're making seem so calculated.
They are.
The story that you tell with the what club? You're the outlaw leader, Taco.
Yeah.
Who then later wants to kill you. It's this whole thing.
But it's not personal.
Right.
He told me.
Business.
Yeah,
right.
It's his business, George.
That story, and for sake of time, they got to read this because it's so good, that story. But you're making these difficult moves, and the way I see your brain is, how do I make this club what we want for a very long time, for the next, so they can all live that and have it? Sonny's moves feel like, I'm doing what I want right now, and whatever happens, happens.
Well, when I had that beef with Sonny right before he got cancer, he's divided the club.
Right.
Purposely.
Right.
And I call him on the phone, and I say, "Look, man, the club's divided in half." I go, "You can end this today."
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember exactly what he said. I may have wrote it in the book. He insults me.
Right.
I don't like how I get on the plane.
Right.
Back then, people have to understand, there's flights out of LAX every fucking 35 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
And so I get on the plane, and he tells me, I call him, and I go, "Ralph," I said, "I need you to pick me up at the airport." He goes, "The airport?" He goes, "Where are you?" And I go, "I'm in Oakland." He goes, "What the hell?" And I said, "I didn't like the way our conversation ended." I said, "I came up here, let's do this in person." Right. And he goes, "I'll pick you up." Of course, he doesn't come.
Right, send somebody.
And who's he send? Jim Brandis. The guy that convinced someone. The legend is, he convinced somebody, this was in Rolling Stone magazine, he convinced somebody to try a pair of thumb cuffs on him.
Okay.
And Jim, of course, says, "Put these thumb cuffs on me."
Right.
And the guy puts them on Jim, and Jim, "I can't get out." He goes, "Here, let me put them on you."
Right.
Jim puts them on him and shoots him in the head.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's Jim Brandis.
And that's who Sonny said.
That's who Sonny said.
That's a message.
So I immediately, I see the Corvette pulling up with the tinted windows, and I didn't know who was in it. And I see the windows go down.
And you're like, "Oh,
fucking Jim." So
right.
the first thing I did, I don't know if you notice in the book, I look in the car. I want to make sure there's no fucking buddy in the back seat.
Right.
There's no plastic in there.
Right. What are they doing?
Yeah. Why is Jim here? I just talked to Sonny, and he told me he'd be there to pick me up.
So what's the deal? And I want to ask you that too, because you write about it. People go missing, right? Yeah. And you allude to the fact that Sonny has a role in that.
Absolutely.
Now you're a prominent leader on the West Coast. He's the leader on the West Coast. You have the anxiety with police and investigations. Are you also looking over your shoulder because what's Sonny going to do? Well, why not take you out?
I think it was very probable it could have happened at some point in time. And I think ultimately, I'll be cautious as I say this because I don't want people to go, "I knew it, he was a chicken."
No, totally.
Like, I thought to myself, is this even worth it anymore?
Right.
I've got an autistic son. I'm on the cusp of 70.
Right.
What
am I doing?
These guys aren't listening.
Right.
And, I went to the meeting. I quit the right way.
Right.
I thought to myself, as a leader, you have to have a vision. And you want to achieve that vision. You have to make the vision attainable.
Right.
If you make it unattainable, you're pissing in the wind.
Totally.
And I felt that everything I wanted to accomplish, we were right on the cusp of.
Right.
It was so close. And every time I'd get there, he'd destroy it.
Right.
And
and that was just personal. He just wanted the power. He didn't want somebody else doing it.
He didn't want George Christie dominating something that he felt he created. And the reality is, he didn't create it.
Right.
It was 10 years
Right. He didn't start the club.
He didn't start the club.
No.
But Sonny always thought the club belonged to him.
Right.
I felt I belonged to the club.
Right.
Just like part of the Marine Corps. And, you know, when I went up to Sonny's house, I get in Jim Jim's car. Jim Jim and I have a pretty interesting conversation. I go to Sonny's house. And I said, man, what are you doing? Why are you tearing the club apart?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, you know, it's cavalier, man. You know, little conflicts, good for an organization.
Interesting.
And then I talk about as a leader, you do this and you do that.
Right.
He said to me, "Is me as a leader, I burn every fucking bridge I cross,"
which is so crazy to me.
Yeah. And I look at him and I go, "Well, let me tell you, as a Marine," I said, "I always say one for supplies or retreat."
Yeah, totally.
And you know, he
didn't care.
No, he did not.
And it seems like he doesn't really, you know, the number one leadership thing that I always take is it's people, your people first, right? You got to worry about the people that you're leading, right? Because
that should be your number one.
That should be number one. And there are stories of Sonny. I think you recommended it on your Instagram or something. George Weathern's book,
yeah,
which is a great book, and people watching, listening, great book.
Yeah, it is.
This guy, very quick story. Finally, it's like, I'm gonna get out. He has, you know, crazy stories, and the book is long, but he has all these stories. He finally gets out. He's like, I'm gonna buy this ranch for myself to take my wife and be safe. I'm out. Good. Finally did it. Sonny calls him, give me the keys. I got stuff to
I got
there.
3 bodies or 2 bodies.
How do you do that to your people? It's just it's a very interesting dynamic, you know.
Look, it's so interesting. You just mentioned Weathern's book. Now, Weathern's book filled the pieces in the puzzle that I had with Terry the Tramp.
Right.
The death of Terry the Tramp.
Which is an incredible
story. I'm going, it's now 1977 or 78. Ray Glorge has been murdered.
Mm-hmm.
I go to Animal. Animal's staying at Dick Zeiker's house, who is one of the top Hollywood stuntmen. Samantha Egger's his girlfriend. Dick Zeiker is staying with Samantha Egger. So Animal is part of we have a joke in the club, order of professional guests.
Okay.
He's taken over Dick Zeiker's house.
Got it.
In a good way.
Sure.
I got some great Willie Nelson stories about Animal.
I bet.
But so I go over to knock on the door. And the window, he gets up, you know, he's Animal.
Sure.
He goes, "What the fuck are you doing here, man? I got to talk to you." And he puts a piece of licorice in his mouth, and he's always got this long, hard, not licorice, like the actual root.
Right.
And he's chewing on it, and his beard's got kind of stains in it from the like the liquid that comes out.
Right.
And he's just Animal, you know.
Yeah.
And I go, "What the fuck's going on, man?" And I write about it, Outlaw Riding Through the Storm, and we start having this conversation. And I go, "What the fuck's with this club, man?" And I start naming all the people that are dead.
Right.
And I go down the list, and we're going back and forth. He mentioned something to me, and I mentioned something to him. And then at the end of the conversation, he goes, "I noticed you didn't mention Terry the Tramp, George." And I go, "Yeah." I go, "A fucking guy wants to fucking shoot drugs and kill himself, fuck him." And he goes, "Come on, man."
At this point, you have no idea.
No. He goes, wow. And I always I went to Cisco Valderrama's house, and Terry the Tramp's bike's in the garage.
Right.
And Cisco is like, "Tramp's bike, man." And I mean, this is the bike from Hell's Angels 69.
Yeah, which is
yeah,
big red, you know.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But how do I feel about Terry? He's a junkie, man. He killed himself.
Right.
And I have that.
That's your narrative.
That's my narrative.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Sonny accomplished what he wanted.
Wow.
Animal says, come on, man.
Right.
Did you think that was a overdose? He goes, that was a fucking hot shot. And I go, what? Yeah. So he tells me the whole story. He says he goes over there, and I didn't know this at the time. He wouldn't tell me who was with him.
Right.
He said, I went over there with a member. That's why I believe it's a true, valid story.
Right.
Because I went over there, and we offered Terry some drugs. And Terry, fuck yeah, Terry fixes the drugs.
Sure.
And Bobby Dirt's the guy with him. And that's what George Weather confirms. Now, there's something else that I always didn't believe it. George Weather says that they recorded Terry the Tramp drowning on his own vomit.
Mm-hmm.
Animal told me it wasn't a recording. They called him. Sonny wanted to hear Terry struggling while he was ODing. So he said, yeah, we called Sonny, and I said, here, Chief, that's what they called him. Listen to this. And I walked out of that house that night.
Changed, probably.
I was just like, wow. Because Harry the horse had been murdered. I go to the funeral. I ride all night, the dead of winter, man. I want to pay my respects to Harry.
Totally.
Him and his wife, or a girlfriend, get shot in the head. And he's a prisoner to San Francisco. I remember looking, I could still see it. I look at the sign on the bank, the degrees, 22 degrees, man. I'm freezing there, freezing cold. And I'm on my old flathead with my foul weather coat on, my Levi vest. And I get up there and we go to the funeral, and it's just huge thing. And we get a phone call. Turn the news on. They had filmed us, the big pack, and the people at our funeral. And I'll never forget the commentator. He goes, well, it looks like another in-house killing for the Hells Angels.
Wow.
And I just go,
oh, shit.
I go, what? And then I look at Deacon. He's president of Oakland.
Right.
And I look, he's looking at a Frisco member, and Deacon's just going, what? Fuck.
Yeah.
And I just, it was just like these reality things.
Right. You're seeing what it actually is. Maybe you're seeing it from the perspective of like what the outside world is seeing.
Absolutely. And it's like I'm talking to Gary Robles at Bass Lake.
Right.
Gary Robles from Dago, fierce reputation, a fighter,
right,
a solid dude, and people are afraid of him. But, maybe I'm stupid. I'm sitting next to him, and we're partying, we're taking LSD and partying and having this great time. A couple of months later, man, I'm at his funeral. Somebody killed him in the club.
Right.
It's like, I could go on and on and on,
Well,
and look, I know there's people out there. Why the fuck did you stay? Because I was in love with the Hells Angels.
Right.
That's why I stayed. Right. And I was a Hells Angel, and I thought somehow how arrogant of me.
Yeah.
I thought somehow I could change it and set it on the right direction. I can find true north for us as an organization. And I couldn't do it,
Right.
And that's why I left.
Yeah.
I didn't get kicked out.
Right.
There was no rumors of me getting kicked out.
Right.
There were people that didn't like my politics and whatnot.
Right.
But they have liked my politics for 20 years.
Sure.
I decided, this is
time.
It. Tonight, it's time,
Right.
And I told the club, and perhaps that's part of what angered Sonny.
Mm-hmm.
I took my patch off, I folded it up like a flag, put it on the corner, and I said, we now have become the people we rebelled against. I'm out.
Right.
And that was it for me. And that walk from my chair to the door threshold, longest walk I ever took in my life.
Yeah.
And I knew once I crossed that threshold, my life would never, ever be the same. And it wasn't. Within weeks, I was hit with this, social media negativity. And I'll never forget. I knew that the club was off course. Flash from Oakland part of the crew with the trademark. He was part of the trademark thing with me, along with myself. Did a lot of good things for the club.
Right.
But him and I got in an argument in a meeting. We're in official meeting in the Oakland Hells Angels clubhouse. And he wants to know why I haven't defriended an ex-member
Right.
on Facebook.
Insane.
And I said to him, I looked at him, I said, is this what it's come to?
Wow.
I go, the most powerful outlaw motorcycle in the world? You want to bring me up because I won't defriend this guy on Facebook?
Wow, yeah.
I said, if it's that big a thing to you, I said, I'll defriend him.
Right.
You know, I go, but I don't get it.
Total shift.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't get it.
Well, I want to just, as we wrap up, because we're probably running out of batteries and stuff. I mean, I could talk to you for
we'll do it again.
days. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to. I just want to ask you this, for the sake of reflection and everything. You know, you talk about that walk to the door and how that decision so painful and changes your life, you know, in a completely different track. I sometimes think about, you know, if I had known what this felt like, you know, this loss or this change, would I do it in the first place and set it up? And I think I know the answer, but let me ask you.
You know, Robert Poland, another Hells Angel 55-year member, lifelong friend, someone I trust with my life to this day. I quit the club. He called me in the morning. George, is it true? Yeah, it's true. He goes, why didn't you call me? And I said, this is how simple and how keyed in together we are. He goes, why didn't you call me? And I said, because you would have talked me out of it. And he goes, I get it. He goes, good luck, brother. And wow. And I had no intention of writing a book, had no intention of doing television shows, had no intention of doing a stage play. But when Sonny Barger told me, you can't write a book,
Right.
You cannot do the History Channel, you will not go to Spain and make a movie.
Right.
You will not. Well, I will do whatever I want. I'm my own man. And, you know, if it costs me my life in the process, I guess I am still who I am.
I love it. I don't know. I can't think of anything to add to that. It's incredible. The takeaway and decades worth of, you know, lessons learned and leadership struggles and everything. And to be able to sit here and think I am who I am. I've done what I've done. And this is how I live my life is a good way to, you know,
it's interesting. I think the ending of the book is very profound. I think it explains why I never try to resolve anything.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty evident. Yeah.
I know. Anyways. I love the last I won't spoil it for whoever wants to read the book, but yeah. I love it. Well, anyway, let me just do a couple plugs before we officially wrap this up. But for everybody listening and watching, April 25th, which day before a big birthday, I think.
That's right.
Read the book, and then you can get you know all those dates. April 25th at Iron and Resin on Main Street in Ventura from 1 to 4. We're going to do a book signing where Mr. Christie will be here. We will be selling his book, Cross the Rubicon, at the store, and he'll be there to sign it.
Talking, signing books.
Yep, little Q&A.
Doing a Q&A.
So more stories that more than what you heard here will be at the store. If you haven't read the book, read the book. It's incredible. And there's other ones. You've got 4, I think. Right?
Yeah, I do. I've Exile on Front Street, Outlaw Riding Through the Storm, at Crossing Rubicon. The last book, I see people always write me, which one, what's the order?
Sure.
Read them in the order I just spoke. But Marked is a fictional account of my life.
Right.
And as you read it, you'll go, well, wait a minute. This sounds
totally.
So sometimes truth makes the best fiction.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Mr. Christie. I really appreciate it.
Really,
it was great talking to you.
Thank you, guys.